Hi everyone, the fantastic Mr. Fox here with Rhyme Signatures, the nerdiest music review this side of being one of the few Wes Anderson films I can genuinely sit through. And today we're going to be doing a review of the new OK Goodnight album, The Fox and the Bird. You know how I've often been an advocate for trying out random records on a whim because of how good the album art is. Well, it would appear that once again, as if I ever had any doubt in myself, that I have been proven right. Take a moment to appreciate this cover art. It is glorious. I want this framed on my living room wall. I want guests to my house to see it and nod approvingly at how beautiful it is, and to subsequently pat me on the back and tell me what exquisite taste I have. Because I am in no way whatsoever suffering from any kind of insecurities and never ever go fishing for compliments. Anywho, The Fox and the Bird is the second full-length release from Boston-based progressive rock outfit OK Goodnight. And let me tell you something right off the bat, these guys deserve to blow up. If you aren't listening to this right now, then go off and do so. It's okay, I'll still be here when you're done, but please do come back and get my average view time on this video up because my fragile ego enjoys seeing big numbers on my content. It came as little surprise to me after I listened to this record a couple of times and started doing research for this review to, as usual, pretend like I have the slightest clue what I'm talking about, that the band are Berklee College of Music alumni, and it really does show in how complex some of the arrangements are and how breathtakingly technical the instrumental sections can become. Consisting of Casey Lee Williams on lead vocals, Martin Gonzalez on guitars, Ron Bernhout on bass, Martin De Lima on keyboards, and Augusto Bucio on drums, this five-piece really do bear all the hallmarks of a prog band who are primed to explode into the big leagues. In fact, I've been feeling similarly to The Fox and the Bird as I did to Haken with their debut record of Aquarius. That is to say, there's this huge spirit of passion and adventurism within the record, with every sign of a band who've got a lot to say, and while they might be looking very carefully at how their peers operate, they've got more than enough of their own tricks to mark themselves out as their own thing, while fitting comfortably within this very particular niche. So, for the uninitiated, and those who spurned my advice to go and listen to this immediately, who did this band remind me of? Honestly, the quickest and laziest comparison I could make would be if you blended equal parts of the Deer Hunter and Haken, shook well and served over crushed ice with a slice of pineapple and one of those little paper umbrellas. This is a band who seemed to know exactly what parts of my musical brain to scratch, as I was hooked on their sound almost immediately. A large part of my enjoyment of OK Goodnight can easily be pinpointed firmly on the vocal cords of Casey Lee Williams, who has 100% rocketed up on my list of vocalists whose singing style makes me wish I could afford actual singing lessons. She is honestly incredible, giving me some striking similarities to Cammie Gilbert from Oceans of Slumber at times, but managing to sound singularly unique within the boundaries of progressive rock and metal. Make no mistake, Casey imprints her unique sound on this record like no one else, and if you like powerful, confident and laser-point precision vocal delivery, you will get a lot out of her performance here on The Fox and the Bird. So, a bit more about the album itself. This is a concept album, so I'm immediately more interested in this, as frankly I love a good concept album, and this just so happens to be an extremely good one. The story is reasonably simple. A big drought has occurred and our heroes, the titular fox and bird, are sent on a quest by a mystical raccoon, obviously, to go and fetch a bunch of stuff so that the drought can be broken and the land saved. Yeah, at least that's what I'm hearing when I listen, so I do apologise if I've missed some of the more subtle nuances. Along the way, they meet a supporting cast of characters, some more helpful than others, and some who just want to eat our poor protagonists, the very cheek of it all. It is a nicely structured record, coming in at just shy of 52 minutes over the course of 13 songs, so there's not anything on here which could be described as, like a prog epic or anything like that. The longest song of The Falcon comes in at about 6 minutes and 12 seconds, and the shortest of The Dream runs at 1 minute 50. So what you tend to find on this record is there's a plethora of great ideas and interesting sounds that never really outstay their welcome, but there were a couple of instances where I would maybe have preferred the band to expand a little bit more on some of the musical phrasing or complexity of the instrumental passages. I mean, it was never to any genuine detriment, it was more of a, oh, this solo is pretty cool, but what if it was like 12 seconds longer or something, you know. The record is also a teensy bit slow to start, only really picking up a runaway train level of impact from the fourth track, The Journey. But after multiple listens, I can forgive the band this amount of wind-up, as setting the scene for the story is very important, and you've got to admire the level of peripheral detail and effort that they've gone into to paint as vivid a picture of the story as they have done. It must be said that the second half of the album is absolutely stacked though, bringing in an unreasonable number of bangers one after the other. Everything from The Falcon right up until the final track of The Rain is absolutely chef kiss, and really does expand beautifully on my previous comparisons to both Haken and The Deer Hunter. Now what I really mean by that is you've got these stunning, complex, blistering instrumental runs that could only really come from graduates of one of the best music colleges in the world, but they've tempered this with these gorgeous, acoustic, stripped-down, melody-focused interludes and bridges between the face-melting intensity of the overall sound on so many of the songs on The Fox and the Bird. It is a wonderful exercise in balance and showcases that you can make a record that demonstrates showmanship from a purely technical level in the same breath as ensuring that you don't overwhelm the listener with needless showboating that lacks any amount of heart or feeling to it. The Fox and the Bird is an emotional record, but not so much in a tears running down my eyes, you just hit the nail on the head of my childhood trauma kind of way, but more in an Animals of Farthing Wood way, if you'll kind of forgive me an extremely British parallel. That is to say that the band have done a remarkable job of making you feel genuinely engaged by the story. When guest vocalist Elizabeth Hull shows up to deliver her menacing, harsh vocals, playing the part of some of the more threatening antagonists within the story, it's hard not to feel nervous and genuinely concerned for our beloved heroes. The lyrics are fantastic and do paint an extremely vivid picture for you if you pay attention to what's happening. Honestly, I have very little to really complain about with this album. I mean, maybe the production could have been a little bit beefier, it's kind of muddy sounding in some places, but I can't really hold this against a small indie band. Those little guys have only got so much to work with after all. I mean, for crying out loud, I record these videos in my bedroom on a mobile phone with about 12 square feet of available space amongst me and the furniture that so selfishly gets in the way. So to look down my critical nose at a indie band for not having the same level of production as a stadium filler would be a teensy bit unfair of me. Apart from this extremely minor nitpick, the album is fundamentally flawless at what they've done. It's an addictive record that keeps demanding I hit the replay button over and over, and I think I've given this one about, I don't know, a dozen spins I think before I started putting pen to paper. So, what else can I say about OK Goodnight's The Fox and the Bird? In truth, I had absolutely no idea what to expect when I first played this. I didn't even know what genre of music I was getting into. I just loved the album art so much, and I was really hoping that it sounded as good as it looked. And you know what? It really does. The music and the artwork on this record are basically perfect bedfellows. The feelings I felt when I saw the cover have been pretty much perfectly encapsulated by the music within, and that in itself makes this record worth checking out. I would be extremely surprised if this doesn't end up in my top 10 of the end of the year. And frankly, as of right now, if I had to rank everything I've heard so far, this would very likely be a top 5 and possibly even top 3 material for me. I am honestly obsessed with this record. It's become that one that I just keep returning to if I don't know what I want. If I can't decide, if I'm in a quandary as to what my brain actually wants at the time, I know that if I put on The Fox and the Bird, I'll be singing along very badly in no time whatsoever. Today, we own the sky. Recommendation on this one is extremely easy. Please do buy yourself a physical copy of this album. Buy one for yourself, for your friends' friends, birthdays, anniversaries, whatever. Just slip a copy of this album in there. It's incredibly worth it. My only regret and shame is that this isn't yet available on vinyl, which given that gorgeous cover art is a tragic shame, as my goodness I would love to have this in big boy format. This, however, is all the more reason to support the band as much as you can, so that in future maybe we can look forward to a turntable-based release. This, guys, is all of course just my opinion, as you know, so please tell me what you thought of this record in the comments down below if you have given it a listen. If you did like this video, please do share it around with anyone else who you think would possibly enjoy it, and please do consider subscribing to the channel for more content. If you really like what I do as well, please do consider clicking the Ko-fi link in the description box down below to help support the channel. And until next time, guys, as always, keep your rhyme signatures extremely odd.